Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Today I am making a special cake, something that a lot of people like to have, especially if they're getting married. A lot of people like to have it as part of their wedding cake. So today I'm going to make it for you and show you how easy it is to make. And I'm wearing the same color as this cake. Can you guess what it is? Red velvet. We're making a red velvet cake today, and I want to show you how to do it. Really simple and easy and delicious. So let's get started. Here I have 2 cups of sugar. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna beat some sugar and some butter together. I will give you all the ingredients as we go along step by step and tell you exactly what it is that I'm using. So if you have a pen and paper, you can quickly write it off as I go ahead, because I'll tell you the measurements. So here is 2 sticks of butter. So this is actually 1 cup of butter that we're gonna be using. So when you're baking, you go ahead and sit your butter out so it become at room temperature, okay? So let's go ahead and whip this up until it is nice and light, okay? So I'll be right back. Okay, don't forget guys to stop the machine. And you have to scrape down the sides. See, you have to continue beating for a little bit, but we're gonna rake down the sides to make sure everything get beat up correctly, okay? So let's continue. Okay guys, I think this is good enough. See, it's nice and light, and that's what you want it to be, okay? And kind of rake around. There you go. All right, we're gonna go on to the next step. I'm gonna let it sit here for a minute so I can go on to the next step. So remember, butter or sugar, we beat it, and now we go on to the next step. How to clean my hands a little. Okay, so over here, the next step is I have some flour, and we're gonna add some ingredients to the flour. I also have a pan that I'm gonna be baking in, and my pan is nice and butter, and I have some parchment paper to the bottom. So you'll do this and set this aside, that when you're ready, it will be right there, okay? This is my 2.5 cups of flour, so I'm gonna sieve this. Sieve your flour, put some air in it. Over here, remember we're making red velvet cake. In red velvet cake, we're gonna add some cocoa. This is 100% cocoa, and this is 1/4 cup of cocoa I'm going to add here. I have here, I'm going to add some coffee to it. And I have 1 tablespoon of instant coffee. Over here, I have a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I have 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Half a teaspoon of baking powder. And this is all I need for this, and we're gonna mix this up to make sure everything goes throughout. So we'll mix this up and then set it aside. Okay guys, so now let's go on to the next step. We put our flour aside, that's finished. Now let's finish up our batter here. So we're going to continue to beat this for a little bit. Now to this, I'm going to add 2 eggs. So we're going to add 1 egg at a time. Let that go. And then we're going to add 1 more egg. let that beat up for a couple minutes. I'm going to go around the edges just to make sure. And then we're going to continue here. So since we've just added the eggs in, the next thing I'm gonna add is 2 tablespoons of vanilla essence. And let that beat in there. And that is gonna be it for now. So let me go ahead and stop that. So now there's a couple of things that we have to do. Now, for this recipe, it calls for 1.5 cups of buttermilk. I switched out the buttermilk and I used coconut milk instead. You can use buttermilk or coconut milk. I'm using coconut milk, okay? So I have here 1.5 cups of coconut milk. Now, another thing that this recipe calls for, guys, is you have to use food coloring in the recipe. I tried to change it up a little bit before, and I wanted more of a natural coloring instead of food coloring, so I used beets. I steamed some beets and then I crushed it and blended up, and I added the beets to that. It tasted good. My daughter said it had a little earthy taste at the end of it when you were eating it, and I didn't get that red vibrant color that I needed. It gave it more of a dark, more like a chocolate color, and that's not what I want. So that's why today I have to use food coloring, because the beets did not give me the color that I want. Okay, so now right here to the coconut milk that I have, I'm gonna add some food coloring to it. Now, I'm not gonna measure this. You can't really measure it. You're just gonna have to kind of eyeball it to see if it have the color that you want. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep mixing this up right here, because I need like a good red vibrant color in here. Yeah. Okay guys, I think it's about red. You just have to put the food coloring in and keep mixing it up to get the color that you want. I think this looks pretty good right here. Okay, so we're gonna add this to our cake. Good. I think that's good, guys. So now the next thing I'm gonna do in here, I have 1 tablespoon of vinegar. I'm gonna add the vinegar in here. I'm gonna turn this on again and let this beat up right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and start adding some of my flour to that. And I'm gonna add this in stages. Can't add too much at once, because then it's gonna come flying all over the place. And I will add some of my liquid here, my coconut milk. There we go. Beat that up for a minute, not too long, because you don't want to overbeat your flour. I'm gonna add some more in here. Very good. And then we're gonna add some more of our coconut milk. Beat that up for a minute. And then we just add some more. Add a little more. And now I'm gonna stop it here to add the last set and to stir it up a little bit. So I'm going to go around, all around the edges here. Make sure that everything is inside all the flour and it gets all the color. All the way to the bottom. See, when you go to the bottom, it still needs to be stirred up. Let's stir it from the bottom. Okay, that's good. Now, to that, I'm going to add the rest of the flour in here. And I'm going to add the rest of the coconut milk to that. Try to get all of it out. I'm going to use this to take the rest of it out. Now I'm going to turn this on for a minute. Not going to beat it too long because I don't want the flour to be, the cake to be dense. Okay, so I think that is it. So I'm gonna turn this off, get everything off of here. Make sure your oven is on. Set your oven to 350 and let it come to room to, set it at 350 so it can heat up. And you're gonna bake this cake for about an hour. But I would say 30 minutes. You're gonna check the cake and then lower the stove to about 300. So it will take its time. So it's gonna take at least an hour, maybe an hour and 20 minutes or so, but everybody's oven varies, so check your oven, okay? So let me just move some of this stuff out of the way. Good. I have my pan here that's already prepared. And let me just move this from here. And now, and this is the cake right here. So I am gonna go around just to make sure everything is mixed up properly. And I'm gonna go around all from the bottom, and as you can see, it's not really mixed up properly here. So I'm gonna stir it from the bottom and just fold it in on itself. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is add this to my pans. So my pan is here, my prepared pan with some parchment paper to the bottom, and I have it buttered. So I'm just go ahead and empty this in the pan. Just want to make sure I get it all out. A lot of people like red velvet cake, and when they have weddings and so on, they have this for the wedding. So guys, show you how easy it is to make. Okay, I think that is good enough right there. Let me just clean up stuff a little bit. You shape out your cake a little bit, guys. And then go ahead and shake it to kind of level it out a little bit. So now, so now what I'm gonna do is put this in the oven, as I said, at 350. I'm gonna leave it in there. I'm gonna set the timer for about 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, I'm gonna check it to see how it's doing. I'm gonna lower, it's not gonna be finished, but I'm gonna lower the stove to about 300 and let it continue to cook. Now, if your oven is a little bit too hot, you can lower it even a little bit lower and let it just take its time and cook. And about another 30 minutes, check it again, get a toothpick, stick it inside. After the toothpick comes out clean, you know it is done. If it's still wet, you know it needs to continue cooking on the inside, okay? So I will be back as soon as this is all done. Okay guys, the cake is out of the oven here. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it out here and put it on this rack. Ooh. I'm gonna let it come to a complete cool, and when it's cool, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna slice it so we can see, is it red? Is it brown? Let's see. I'll be right back. Okay guys, cake is all done. Here it is. Now, normally people ice this cake. They make an icing and they put in the center. So I'm gonna give you some options right here. When you make this cake, if you want to ice it, you can get 3 pans or 2 pans and divide the cake evenly between the pans. So when your cake is cool completely, you can go ahead and ice it and then stack it on top. To ice this, I'm not gonna ice this, guys, because I don't really care that much for the icing, and my girls don't care that much for the icing, so I'm not going to ice mine. But I'm telling you, if you want to ice it, you can do it like this and ice the whole thing, or you can you know, do layers. Okay, now to do the icing, you need like 12 ounces of cream cheese and a cup of butter. Melt those, mix those two up together until they're nice and creamy, and then to that you add maybe 4 cups of powdered sugar. Mix that really well, mix it up really well. Add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, mix that very well, and with 2 tablespoons of, or a tablespoon of milk, and you can add more milk if you need to, but just a very little bit, and mix it up until it's nice and creamy. Then you can go ahead and layer that on your cake. So I'm kind of skipping that part, okay? So let me go ahead and cut the cake for you. Well, it still doesn't have, it is red velvet. It's not as bright as I would have liked it to be with the coloring, but this is your red velvet cake. Normally it's a little bit brighter than this because I guess they put more food coloring to it. But guys, this is how you make red velvet cake, and the color is, as I said, is just the food coloring that gives it that color, okay? But this is it right here. This is it right here. And if you don't want to use food coloring, as I said, I did it with beets and it was just as good. It just didn't have the bright red either. All right, guys, go ahead and make yourself some cake. Oh, first I gotta taste it, right? Okay, let me taste it. Look at it, guys. It's nice. The texture is very good. It is nice and moist, which is really important when you make a cake. You want a nice moist cake and not a dense cake. And as you can see, this one is nice and moist. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I had fun, and I hope you had fun as well. I hope you can make yourself a red velvet cake. Mine is not as red as it should be, but you get the idea. So you can put a little more coloring in yours to get a little bit brighter. Thank you so much for joining me. I had fun. I hope you had fun. Don't forget to share the video, like the video, subscribe to the video, and leave me a comment. Until next time, bye-bye.